Hey, welcome to the Rude Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes. I am Facebook Live, and you're probably wondering what this switch is. And I've been having issues with my audio, so I've been trying to flick the switch. Hopefully, get this audio to work. It's not quite working out as I had planned, but we're going to do the best with what we have. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show at WBLZSports.com. I have a real special guest here for you this afternoon. I know it's a ramp-up period, it's a build-up period, but I'll tell you what, it's worth the wait. I have Mr. Rob Aurelius here. Rob, how are you? Thank you for taking your time out to join me on the show today.
I'm good, Rudy. Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Not a problem, man. Hey, I noticed you've been working not only hard in kickboxing, but that's something that you seem to thrive in, as well as managing your own social media, branding efforts, trying to get yourself out there, but helping people at the same time. And that's basically what we're talking about here today on the show. We're going to go over some various things and really touch base and help people understand what you do, not only from a personal perspective, but from an entrepreneurial perspective and from all various types of things that you do, and really get down to the nitty gritty and what makes you who you are. Look, when you consider the types of people that have come to you and said, Rob, can you handle my accounts? You have a guy like Guido coming to you, for example. You're out of New York. That's the best accent I can get. That's all I got for you. When you look at the types of criteria, what do you consider to be an account that needs serious help, similar to that of a 911 call saying, Rob, I need your help?
I couldn't really understand your question. Say that again?
Well, when you're considering an account, a guy walks up to you, or a lady, contacts you on social media, Twitter or Facebook or the like, and you're inquired about, they're inquired with you about, how can you help me? I need some help. I need to get some branding going on here. How would you be able to assist them in the growth pattern to be able to get them noticed and to have more followers, not only on Twitter, but on Facebook and even LinkedIn for that matter?
All right. Well, when it comes to my company, I have a small business that does entertainment marketing and promotions here in New York City. It's called A&R Collective Group. When it comes to my business, what I do is, I offer services to people as far as branding and marketing, advertising, promotions. Pretty much almost everyone today has a company they're building, or a product, or just something that they're creating and they want to bring to life. So at the end of the day, I feel like life is all about marketing. Everything is about marketing everything and promoting everything. Believe it or not, that's just how life is. And, people will come to me, they ask me what I can do for them, what I can offer them, and, I am all about helping them take this product of theirs or this brand or company to the next level. That's pretty much what I do. I have a strong team here in New York City, and even in other parts of the world. I started branching out. I have guys on my promotional team that work with me from Texas, from the UK, and what they do is, all day long, they're just building the buzz. They're building awareness for this particular product or whatever it is that we're promoting. Just literally, putting it in people's faces and blasting it out there.
Well, that's really what it's about. When you're talking about getting people in front of other people, it's about networking, it's about connecting, it's about making the right moves at the right times for the right reasons. And a lot of times people will misconstrue branding with marketing. Of course, branding's a part of marketing, but it's not purely the marketing tool that really helps move everything forward. To put it into perspective, when you're talking about advice, when you look at sometimes, again, being misconstrued, or sometimes the information can be misunderstood, even though you're trying to break it down in a very layman fashion. But when you look at the types of ill-fated type of reactions to how they're building the social media and what they're doing wrong, what would your suggestion be to those out there who are really trying to inquire about making a better presence, not only for themselves now, but for the future?
Exactly.
So when we're talking about advice, we're talking about education, and you're trying to give somebody the better types of advice that are certainly out there. What type of advice would you give someone if they're looking for more growth now and in the future on all the various social media sites?
Well, what I tell people, especially when they come to me to ask me advice, the first thing I tell them is, listen, if you want to bring this to life, you need to be willing to make an investment. A lot of people believe, that back in the day it was very simple. If you had something and, showed it to people, if people liked it, people were willing to invest in you and make it happen. That, I would say, still kind of exists, but it's, times have changed. Things are very different. Nowadays, when you're, for example, when you're a music artist and you're trying to get buzz, when you go to the record labels nowadays, you need to already have a strong following on social network. You need to have thousands of followers on Twitter, thousands of followers on Instagram, Facebook, and all the 9 yards. SoundCloud or YouTube has to have so many downloads. And, if you're verified, that's even better, because if you're verified, that means you're somebody, people know who you are, you got music on iTunes. If you don't have that stuff, these record labels will not look at you. They will tell you to come back when you're ready. And that's what I do most of the time to some of these guys. When they come to me and they're looking for verification, they're like, listen, you want me to help you get verified on social media, but you don't have a strong following. And, they either ask me, hey, well, can you help me? And I'm like, sure, I have packages that I can offer you as far as brand, artist development. And what I do is I connect them with my A&R representative who lives out in Florida, and he works with them. And, if these people, if their music is really good music, we will continue to, to promote them and stuff like that. If we see that we're not going anywhere with the person, we don't necessarily cut ties with them. But what we do is we don't just push them as much anymore. We put them back in, I would say, phase one, and continue to develop with them until they can finally come up with stuff. In most cases, I've had the clientele that I've had so far in the 3.5 years that my company's been around, I've pretty much had big people come up to me. I've had big names come up to me, people that are already established, people that have a budget, and people who are like, listen, I need this, I need that, let's get to work. So it's very easy, and it's a quick process for me. On the other hand, I've had some clients that have come up to me, they're not that big, and, they're still trying to, build up and stuff like that, and they may not necessarily have a budget. So what I try to do is I try to see how I can get things going on for them. I try to get them bookings. I try to get them involved in, music, what do you call these? I try to get them in showcases. I try to get them, have connections with some of the guys that do this stuff at the South by Southwest. I try to get them involved in something like that, so that they can start building exposure for themselves. I try to, I submit their music to music blogs. I speak to a lot of people in the music industry that I'm very well connected to. I forward that information to them and say, listen to these guys, listen to this guy's track, listen to this guy's album, whatever the case may be. If there's something on there you like, please put it on the radio or talk about it or ask the guy to come down to your studio and have an interview with the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are the kind of things that I do.
Right. Well, when you look at the types of artists that are out there, the guys, the gals, the women really trying to fight to get themselves known, it really starts with them. It starts with their own perspective. How can I take myself to the next level? What things am I going to do, or what positive things do I need to do, or the negative things I need to refrain from doing, conversating with, talking with other people about, and to really essentially get to know my industry, get to know the people that I am playing for, understand what their needs are, what they're looking for. I'm not saying to necessarily curtail what you're doing to appease everybody on the planet, because that's clearly not going to work. But if you brand yourself efficiently and correctly, you can really find out what your niche is. And the people out there that are really going to listen to you respect that. They understand that they don't want to sell out. They want to make sure that you are solid doing whatever you do, from broadcasting to being a musician to being a network engineer. They're going to want all the understandings about you and who you are. And to give it straight, I was listening to something the other day, Rob, when we were talking about how, truth and respect really play a part of why people like you, why they want to work with you, why they want to work to help the growth potential actually occur. And it makes perfect and logical sense. It starts with transparency as well. If you're transparent with this person, if you're welcoming them into your environment, into your house, into your business, it's about a family environment. It's about a family relationship. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on the show today, was so that way you can understand, who these people are, what it's about, trying to, help people understand what you do, how you do it. And when we're talking about, branding, give me one word definition of what branding means to you, or how that applies to the people that you help.
Well, to me, branding, it's like, a simple way to put it is, you're building something, and whatchamacallit, at the end of the day, what you're doing with it is you're building. You're building something so that It can be built properly. It can be built structurally, and people know what it is. For example, like a brand in a store. Like, you know, most of the people like to buy brands, like to buy certain things because of their name brand. They somehow, for some reason, like rely on it. They believe the brand is worth it or whatever the case may be, whether it's a organic product that they're buying or something, you know, clothing-wise or whatever. People believe in that brand and rely on that brand based upon this research that they've done. So when it comes to branding, it's the same thing with like these, you know, music artists, actors, actresses, whatchamacallit. People are going to do their research on them and see what their brand is. And if they know that they have a strong brand, they will want to, you know, support it. That's the way I kind of see it sometimes.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of instances where you get a professional athlete, for example, and they're trying to get to the next level. I've interviewed a ton of D2 talent, a lot of NFL Hall of Famers, and guys who, you know, probably deserve to be in the Hall of Fame and clearly not a part of that process. But when you're looking at what they're trying to accomplish, branding has everything to do with getting them those contracts to Adidas and Nike and Samsung and case in point, Shaquille O'Neal, who does he does a lot of different things with the Lanacane, not Lanacane, but some type of pain reliever, as well as he does in general commercials for insurance. So again, it's branding himself, and it's early, and you have to do it often, and that starts with. It starts at the beginning. I don't know how many times I've seen guys do this, and I think to myself, man, they're just going about it the wrong way. They're going about it the wrong way, and they're really not on the understanding that what they're trying to accomplish isn't quite working out to their benefit. So when you're talking about branding, when you're talking about putting all these things into motion, when you look at philanthropy as a part of what you do, let's just say who you are, philanthropy can do one of two things. It can either define you or take away from your ultimate goal. When you're talking about enrichment and life enrichment and philanthropy and how that works all together, you can probably count it in a myriad of ways, and what it means to everyone can sometimes be very different. The realities of philanthropy can't be measured. What do you believe about philanthropy, and what tools do you use to truly be giving in any given process to be beneficial to the person that you're talking to?
I mean, listen, when it comes to philanthropy, to me, you know, when I first got into the whole philanthropy scene, a lot of people were quick to criticize me when I used to tell them, listen, I'm an aspiring philanthropist. I someday in the near future want to be known as a philanthropist. I want to give back to community. I want to give back at large. People were telling me automatically, listen, in order for you to be a philanthropist, you need to be a wealthy person. You need to be rich. You need to be a millionaire, billionaire, whatever the case may be. When I did my research on philanthropy itself, I realized that philanthropy started in church. It started in churches. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, philanthropy was not what you can give as far as monetary, but what you can give as far as food, clothes, shelter, toys, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
I was raised in a single-parent home, and, you know, of course, like anybody else out there would say the same, I had my struggles. I seen my mother struggle, and I noticed that despite her struggles, she still always managed to, you know, overcome whatever it was that she was going through. And I noticed that my mom was very caring when it came to, you know, feeding people and giving to people things that they needed. Like, you know, there was always, like, you know, whatever I had in my closet that didn't fit anymore, or toys that I didn't want to use, I noticed that my mom was packing it up and sending it away, sending it over to people that, you know, need that would you know, would put good use to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I grew up seeing that, and, you know, when I was already, you know, straight out of college, I started saying to people, you know, I want to give back at large. I want to give it back at large. And regardless, whether the fact that you was born in, you know, in a single parent home or not, or, you know, your parents had struggles or they didn't have struggles or whatever the case may be, I feel like it's imperative that we all give back at large, no matter who we are, no matter where we come from, what background we're from. We always need to give back at large, because I feel like in life we get stuff, and it's only best that we do the same, that we give. I mean, it's not about, you know, oh, I'm only going to give back as much as I have received. No, it's not like that, because, you know, sometimes you have to understand that you're not always going to get as much as you expect. But whatever you get, be grateful for it. Be thankful for it. Because there's people out there facing poverty, going through all these issues, modern day issues, that we know about every single day in the world. And those people, if they had at least half of what they had, they would be great. At the end of the day, that's my mindset. That's how I feel. And that's why, philanthropy is a big part of who I am and what I do, because, I love doing charity work. I love helping out in causes. There's a lot of diseases out there that I know that there's cures for. We all know that there's a cure for it. And, if we can all get together and we could all help raise money and not just that, but spread awareness, because, it's all about educating people. A lot of people out there don't know about certain diseases, don't know about certain things because they're not being educated about it. And that's fine, because you may not necessarily be in a place where people are talking about it. But, if you can educate people and say, hey, listen, I'm understand you're not aware of this. I'm understand you didn't know that this was happening around the world, or this is an existing issue. As long as you educate them and they know about it, they will act on it. I strongly believe they will act on it.
Yeah, you know what? They'll definitely act on it. When you look at the type of guys that give back, consistently. We're always talking about the detractors, guys in the NFL, NCAA, Major League Baseball, who continually give back to organizations. I think the overlooking aspect of it is the negatives. All the detractors, all the guys that are doing, dumb things, or the DUIs, or former players that get into trouble, things of that nature. It really hurts their cause. Case in point, Terry Glenn, former Cowboy and former Patriot, got it wrong. He got himself involved in some legal trouble. He had a DUI and things of that nature. So there were a lot of problems in association in accordance with how he was going about it and not doing it the right way. Now, all of a sudden, 83 Foundation that he has designed and developed is doing very well. He's figured out that giving back to the community is an enrichment, a personal enrichment. And when you can have that as a part of who you are in your makeup and trying to give back, I've done it for years, giving my free time to guys trying to get to the next level, because why? I believe in that process. I believe that these guys will help get themselves to the next level, but need a platform. And that's where I've designated myself to help them out, because why? Everybody deserves to have that. Everybody deserves the opportunity to have somebody help them out in whatever capacity to help live out their dream. That fulfills me more than anything I could possibly get back from them. So when I look at the philanthropic aspects that just seem to really rise above everything else, that seem to be the positive versus the negatives, I don't know that it's spoken often enough, especially when you give back yourself to the communities and to the businesses and to the causes that really could use your type of basically your type of giving back in the way that you do. So, in all fairness, what types of positive outcomes can be had if philanthropy is done successfully? Give me some examples of what it takes to be a philanthropist and to see other people doing the same thing that you are. How does it make you feel? And what do you believe it will contribute to your long-term goals?
I'm sorry, but I'm really having a hard time hearing what you're saying, so I can't really... I don't know how to answer whatever you're asking.
No, that's okay. No, I'm when you're talking about philanthropy, when you're talking about putting everything in the right process and having people give back in the same manner for which you're giving back in, what does that do to, do you see that and recognize that it's just something that will help you continue to give, knowing that there are other people other than yourself giving back?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't really hear what you're saying at all. I'm very sorry.
No, that's okay. It's not your fault at all. Obviously, having some technical difficulties here with the show. Definitely have to try to fix this. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break. Actually, 30 minutes after the hour, I got to pay some bills and then check this audio out. Anyway, this is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show. I'll be right back. Rob, give me a call back in about 5 minutes if you could. I'm going to try to fix this problem.
No problem.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Aurelius, he's going to call me back. I'm going to take a real quick break here because I need to find out what's going on with this audio. Lord knows I hate issues. Things like this just, unfortunately, they do happen. So I'll try to come up with a resolution while we take a commercial break. This is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show at WBLZSports.com. I will be right back. I got to run some commercials, and we'll play some good stuff for you. Gen Services Hotline, Doug Peffer Painting, and all kinds of great stuff. Of course, I have to pay homage to Anthony Gilbert at new-game-plan.com. He can certainly change the way athletes look at agents, as well as johnmalecki.com, who can make anything your heart desires, as long as it has to do with wood. If you can think it, he can build it. johnmalecki.com. And of course, sedetgumil.us, which is the official vitamin sponsor for Starling Marte, and I can't wait for baseball. I'm so excited about that one. Get to watch Starling Marte move over, actually stay in the left field area, and of course the swap out with Andrew McCutcheon going to right field. So that ought to be quite interesting. Anyway, this is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show at WBLZsports.com. I'll be right back after I fix these issues. If not, then we'll just kind of go on with the show, and we'll talk about something else. So stand by. I'll be right back.
This is The Sheet. Gets me all revved up. My face is now red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's so raw that Sky hates it.
Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns, 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that could happen, I have to say.
They're so good, man. They would win the Big Ten if they were in the Big Ten. Could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Give it to him. Kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. Proud of you. Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. Have you ever had a bad week? You know, just you walk outside, step in a puddle, like right when you walk outside, like, I just puddle right outside the house. Or you stand on the curb and somebody drives by and flashes water up on you. Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else. I will tell you, before you go any further,
And call on Doug.
Pepper painting and pressure washing. 404-966.
Are you with me?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Stand by. We're taking a quick commercial break.
Yeah, I see that. I'm looking at stuff on Facebook Live.
Okay, great. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I could definitely hear you very clear in the Facebook Live. But, you know, of course, it's a little delayed, like by a few seconds.
Right. I understand. I appreciate it, man. This usually doesn't happen. Ain't that the coolest thing? I heard that and I said, oh my gosh, she's adorable, whoever she is. And of course, I can never find out who that really is. But hey, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. Anyway, welcome back to the Rude Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes. Obviously, we have technical difficulties, but you know what? I consider myself very resourceful and able to really make some cuts, if you will, and really trying to slice and dice to get things rolling here. Welcome back. Rob Aurelius joins us. Hey, Rob, thanks, man, for hanging in with me. I don't know what happened on that, but we can certainly take care of the rest of the show without those issues. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I can hear you clear on Facebook Live, but when it comes to the phone itself, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, it's actually coming from the computer, so I'll have to make that adjustment. I apologize about that. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear a little bit.
Okay. You know what? We're going to talk about some contacts, few professional relations for which you've been a vital instrument helping to achieve a higher level of awareness through the means of social media. Obviously, in today's age, everybody's hooked on to their cell phones. Sometimes a little bit too much, I think. I'm probably you probably throw me in that as well, saying I probably had the phone on me a little too much, a little too often. But when we're talking about the ability to reach the front page of Google as an example, that's an art form all into itself. But it can be much more difficult for some, and obviously a lot more difficult for others. When you have the pleasure of assisting people with your efforts, give me some examples of individuals that you've helped. I don't care if they're famous or not, that you've seen positive growth from, that enables you to know that you're doing the right thing, that you're helping them out in the ways that are beneficial to them, that give you satisfaction. I guess that's a no. Trying to figure this out here.
Yeah, some of the people, I would say what influences, some people that have influenced me. I mean, some of the people that have influenced me, if that's what you're asking, I would say people like our previous president that we just had, Barack Obama. I think he was very influential. I think he did a decent job as president. There's people like Russell Simmons. There's people that are not famous, like you mentioned, just people that are doing things. And, one of them would have to be a good friend of mine. His name is Gene Alert. I met him in Brooklyn. I actually met him somewhere in Manhattan, but he's from Brooklyn. He owns an advertising agency called ACA Advertising, and this guy's been doing a lot since he's been around. I know he's married, he's got a child now, and he's an entrepreneur. He wrote a book called Do Right, Do Good. I was actually featured in his book. I think he gave me like a shout out of some sort. And the stuff that he does a lot of community stuff. He does a lot of stuff for charity. And the Do Right, Do Good thing that I was just talking about is actually a scholarship that he created to help college students get into college. And, when I went into college, I didn't have any help. I didn't have any scholarship. And I definitely didn't have any organization out there that was going to give me $2,000 or whatever it was to start college. And he has a scholarship program called Do Right, Do Good, where they, select certain students that are fresh out of high school. They're ready to go to college. And what Do Right, Do Good does is they pay $2,000 towards their scholarship. And I think it's an amazing thing. So, he's definitely one of the people that I look up to and I respect. And, I had some very good moments with him, and I haven't seen him in a while, but I hope I can see him soon. Because, he's been doing great. There's so many people out there that I believe are very influential. If I get into it, I won't get off the phone with you at all.
That's okay. You can keep rolling with it. I don't care. There's a lot of people out there right now that are just doing so many good things when you're talking about what they can do for other people, selflessly, for personal reasons or whatever that might be. When you look at those types of people, you really have to think, man, are they really here to help me, or are they just here to float my boat and send me upriver without a paddle? So you have a lot of questions surrounding what these people do and how they can be a benefit to others. So it's about giving back, and it's really about getting people together and understanding where they come from, what walks of life, the rich, the non-rich, and the like. But when you talk about the long-term benefits, and from your experience, people who have achieved proper utilization of outlets at Twitter and LinkedIn and maybe even Facebook for that matter, even though I believe it's more for a business platform, when you look at that actually happening, have you seen positive growth for some? Is it really about the approach on how to get yourself out there? Which one do you believe, based on your experiences, are the best tool to use? Are you with me?
Yeah, LinkedIn is very powerful. Twitter is, I think, one of the strongest social media outlets that are out there. And, I used it. When I started off, I really didn't know what I was doing. I knew that I had to tweet, and I didn't know what to tweet exactly. But eventually, when I found, let's say, when I found my craft or I found my niche and what it was that I was going to do, I capitalized so well on Twitter. That's why I think I have successful numbers on Twitter. LinkedIn was amazing. LinkedIn, I met so many people on there. My business partner, Matty Rock, he's actually one of the people that has over 500,000 plus people. And I've seen that, it works. It really does. And for me personally, LinkedIn, I don't use it as often. I wish I could start using it more often. But every time that I log on LinkedIn, I have all these people that want to connect with me. All these people that are endorsing me, and they don't even know who I am, but they're endorsing me because, LinkedIn has that little section where you can endorse people for certain skills that they have.
Yeah.
And, people are constantly, endorsing me. And then there's people that are writing stuff to me saying, hey, listen, I want to work with you. I heard good stuff about you. I asked someone about you, an associate of yours or somebody you recently did a project with. And I asked them if, what can they say about you? And they spoke highly about you. They said that, when it comes to, working, a very, very serious thing and you'll get the job done.
And that's really what it's about. At the end of the day, is helping people understand how they can help themselves. And clearly, LinkedIn is certainly a good aspect. I've learned a lot of it myself, from Facebook to LinkedIn to Twitter, especially Twitter. When you use certain keywords and phrases and things of that nature, it really continues to help not only personal development, but the educational standpoint. You can always look back at it 5-10 years later and say, you know what, I did it myself. I had a little bit of help from some people here and there, but it wasn't really, I wasn't really into it so much so that now I'm a professional. Now I know exactly what I'm doing. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And clearly, without any question being asked, it's basically a dumb question. You're not really helping yourself at the end of the day. So I'm looking at sports here. There's a lot of movement going on in the NFL, and I understand you're a Giants fan?
Yeah, I'm a big Giants fan. Listen, when it comes to sports, I'm a fan of every team that's in New York.
So Jets obviously play a part of that as well. I'm
a New York native, and listen, by the way, I can hear you very clear now. I hope it continues like this. You sound great. So I hope it stays like this the entire conversation.
It should.
Listen, I was born and raised in New York City, and I'm a big Yankee fan when it comes to baseball. I'm a big Giants fan. I love the Giants. I like the Jets, but I don't know. The Big Blue, it's like, I guess it's the players, it's the team, it's the franchise. The fact that the Giants are the only guys that have teached the Patriots a lesson or two in the past, So, I like that. And when it comes to sports, I like tradition. The Yankees, why do I like the Yankees? It's not because they've been the greatest team in franchise history, but it's because of the championships that they've won, the prestigeness that they've had for years, the names of the players, the managers that have coached them. You know what I'm saying? Derek Jeter, one of, to me, the greatest shortstop in the game, and he happens to play for the New York Yankees his entire career. Mariano Rivera, the greatest closer of all closers in baseball, and just happens to play for the New York Yankees. Those are the things that I look at. Now, when it comes to basketball, the Knicks, I think they're a good team. I'm actually very upset with them right now because I don't like what happened last night with Mr. Oakley during that game. I still don't really understand the full details of what transpired, but from what I know, it just looks bad on their behalf. I think the Knicks organization should have handled that situation more professionally and more proper. But I'm a Nets fan. I've been following the Brooklyn Nets even before they were, when they were in Jersey. And I think it's because it was, George Steinbrenner, who pretty much was the owner of the Yankees. He owned the Nets at some point. And I guess, I was like, listen, whoever owns the Yankees and owns the Nets, I'm going to go for them. And, I know that, the Nets, obviously they transitioned to Brooklyn. They're a different team. And, the Barclays Center is just, a few steps down from where I am. But the Nets, they may not be doing as good as I expected them to do when they came here to New York, but I see them trying. Listen, the thing with sports is when it comes to New York teams, this is no excuse, but I feel there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure for New York City teams. And it's like you're in New York, you got to be the best. And if you're not the best, you're going to end up getting traded or you're going to end up being released and go somewhere else. So there's a lot of pressure in New York City, you know what I'm saying, for sports and just for things in general, you know?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. When you look at the city of New York, you look at all the teams in there, from the Jets to the Knicks to the Nets, Giants, you have to look at yourself and say, this is a very competitive sports city, probably one of the most competitive sports cities. And in the polar opposite direction, when you're talking about LA, now they have two teams, LA Chargers as well as the LA Rams. You're looking into the second year for the Rams, first year for the Chargers. I don't know how competitive either one of those teams are going to be, but I can tell you that the competitiveness on the East Coast is a much different dynamic and dimension you'll find on the West Coast. So as far as how the Knicks handled this situation yesterday, I don't know. I wasn't there. It's hard for me to say what actually happened or who didn't, say what, when, how, and why. But I can tell you this much. When you look at the organization and so much dissension going on right now with this whole Oakley problem, you could probably look at the Chicago Bulls and say, we're skinny on easy street by comparison. Why? Because the Bulls are in complete disarray with players that are being spied on, whether it's in conversation or whether it's in video or what have you. It's really a mess over there. And unfortunately, it's going on the East Coast, so you don't see a lot of that going on the West Coast. So, again, when it comes to sports talent, when it comes to sports guys on either side, you got to look at, case in point, I'm on the West Coast, and I'm a Steelers fan. Of course, huge disappointment against the New England Patriots going on to win Super Bowl 51. And I'm on the West Coast, so I can imagine what it's like being in the city for which your team loses night after night after night or causing dissension in the locker room or on the hardwood floor. So, you have to look at those dimensions. And again, going back to player branding, that has a negative effect and impact on what message they're trying to convey and saying, well, you're going to give Oakley a $50,000 endorsement deal? Probably not, because of what transpired. Whether you had anything to do with it or not, you're still a part of the negativity, part of the negative surroundings, and hopefully they can get that situation resolved a lot sooner than later. No doubt about it. So I understand, Rob, that you've gone headfirst into, well, of course, there was a pun intended there when you're talking about a boxing scene and even some kickboxing on your own, as we had mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Based on your relationships with a lot of these boxing guys in the world, I've had the pleasure of interviewing quite a bit, from Eric Kelly, who also resides in New York, as well as another Mayweather, fighter, certainly climbing his ranks up in the whole boxing scene. When you look at that, what types of positive impacts have you made in the boxing community and or the kickboxing community to not only help yourself stay in shape, but to help other people who are trying to get branded and helping them with their social media system to give them as much positive awareness and exposure as possible?
Listen, I'm going to say something very dumb right now, but when it came to boxing, as a kid, I used to see these men, obviously in the ring with, thousands of people filling up an arena, and then watching these guys go back and forth punching each other. And, I used to see how swollen their eyes used to get and all the blood that they used to come gushing out and stuff. And I didn't understand what was the purpose of boxing. I also didn't understand how good of a cardio boxing is. And, of course, you learn something new every day. And when you get involved in certain things and you meet certain people, you're able to learn more about, that industry or whatever the case may be. If you asked me a few years ago, Rob, would you be into kickboxing today? Would you have any interest in boxing? I would have said no, because I didn't understand it. I was more of a sports guy. I like to watch baseball. Grew up watching the Yankees all my life. Wrestling was one of my things. I've been watching wrestling since, for as long as I can remember, being able to watch a television and know what's going on, I've been watching wrestling. And it's just through the power of networking that I got involved in all these types of things, you know what I'm saying? When it came to the boxing aspect of things, I didn't know much about it, but I started to learn. And then, friends of mine that I grew up with, friends of mine that became professional boxers. And, I knew this one boxer one time, I'm not sure if he still boxes, Zab Judah, I'm sure you know who he is. He knew someone, he actually knew one of the barbers that used to cut my hair from the neighborhood. And, he used to bring Zab Judah around and people would talk to him and stuff like that. And Mike Tyson, I got the chance to meet Mike Tyson. I'm not sure if it was 2016 or 2015, but I got the chance to meet Mike Tyson. And it was very brief. But I looked at him and I was like, holy crap, this guy. And you get knocked out. Imagine if this guy headbutts you. You'll probably crack your skull open. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, this guy has a huge head. But, you know, I was able to meet some of these guys and talk to them briefly and be like, hey, listen, and they started to educate me. And like I was talking about earlier about educating people. They started educating me and they started telling me this and that, and, you know, this boxing's about this, boxing's about that. Yeah, it's a sport, and yeah, it's dangerous, whatever the case may be. But this is the reason why we're getting paid so much money. This is the reason why we're doing what we're doing. And this is the reason why our workouts are so intense. So for me, personally, I used to do a lot of backyard wrestling. And, you know, I'm not going to say I regret it, but some of those, you know, that time that I was doing the backyard wrestling, I actually came up with a few injuries. You know what I'm saying? I have now what I believe is I have a very bad back. I may have some, you know, discs, herniated discs. I have a very bad knee. I had a fractured kneecap, but this wasn't wrestling related. This is something else. I have very bad. My left shoulder is pretty bad, and then my neck. I have problems with my neck, and I think that the reason why I have problems with my neck is because I have back problems. This was all due to backyard wrestling, and you know, at some point, I don't know. When I was a teenager, I said to myself, I want to get in shape because you know everybody's getting in shape. You know, everybody looks good, and I wasn't able to do certain workouts. I wasn't able to do certain things because my injuries wouldn't let me. So I let it go. I gave up on it, and I moved on. And as time came by again, it's like nowadays, 2017, you see all these people that are fit. You see all these people that are in the gym, whether they're, you know, selling, obviously, they're advertising like a product, like Herbalife or whatever the case may be. You know, all these things that people are using out there, these supplements to get in shape, the vegan people, you know, the people that are doing all these types of things. I said to myself, I don't want to necessarily do exactly what these people are doing, but somehow, some way, they are somehow inspiring me to become a healthier person and to get in shape. Because I am 30 years old, and I'm working with so many people nowadays, you know, entertainment-related and non-entertainment related. And I just want to look good. I want to be in shape. I want to look presentable to these people. I don't want these people looking at me and saying, like, you know, this is a good-looking, decent guy, but, you know, he looks like he's got a beer belly. Maybe the guy drinks a lot, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe the guy drinks a lot of soda. I don't ever want to give people that type of impression. So recently, I decided, because something that's been contemplated for quite some time, I said I need to get back in shape. I started going back to the gym, and for some reason the gym really did not really, you know, some people go in there and they like, you know, they what's the word? I would say they go in there and they execute. But with me, the gym was very boring to me. I didn't like it, you know, and I said I need to do something that's different from the gym. What is out there that could get me in shape, but it's not like lifting weights in the gym? People that I know as far as boxers and athletes and wrestlers, they said to me, well, maybe you should try out high-intensity programs. When I heard about all these high-intensity stuff and I started hearing about this one famous one out there that I think it's called Insanity Workout or something, I said, there's no way I'm going to do that stuff. I'm asthmatic, you know, I smoke cigars from time to time. You know, if I do one workout like this, I'm probably going to die. And believe it or not, Rudy, when I started doing when I tried these high-intensity workouts, at first it literally kicked me in the butt. It kicked me in the butt. I felt like my butt was literally handed over to me. And, you know, I've never been beat up in my life. I've never been jumped by anyone, thank God. But when I did these high-intensity workouts, that's exactly how I felt after the workout. I felt like I was jumped. I felt like I was attacked, like I was beat up, like I was literally being stomped on for like 30 minutes, nonstop. That's how I felt, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what I failed to realize, and I'm realizing it now, is that, you know, results come in later on. And the things that I'm doing that may seem like it's tiring me and it's getting the best, you know, it's sucking so much energy out of me, it's going to pay off. Because there's always been a saying, no pain, no gain. And there's no way that you can come back from the gym and, you know, sit down and say, oh, you know, I just did a crazy workout, but I don't feel anything. No, you got to feel something, whether it's the blood pressure, your muscles are aching or whatever the case may be. You got to feel something. You got to feel pumped somehow, some way. And these kickboxing classes, when I signed up to it, I said to myself, the reason why I'm going into kickboxing is because, one, I've already been told that kickboxing is going to be good for cardio. It's going to help me burn this fat that I've been trying to burn for the longest. And at the end of the day, it's going to teach me something new. It's going to teach me how to, you know, punch a certain certain way or kick a certain way. God forbid if I ever have to defend myself in the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially out there.
And it's endurance.
Right,
and it's something
yeah.
that's going to make me, I describe myself as a lazy type of guy. And some people look at me and be like, how are you lazy? You're the type of guy that you're always out there, you're networking, you're running around, you're making moves. How can you be lazy? I was like, listen, when behind the scenes, when I'm home, when I'm not doing anything, I'm usually sitting on a couch, not doing much, sitting on my chair. I'm tired of that stuff because that's what makes you gain weight fast. I want to be out there, running around, doing whatever. Obviously, remember that I'm also human, so I got to take it easy a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't be running around like these little dogs do, all day long, running back and forth, back and forth. I got to have some time where I got to catch up with my breath. But I like the challenge. In kickboxing, I mean, people like Tyson inspired me to do it, even though Mike Tyson's not a kickboxer, but he's a boxer. Some of these MMA guys, I started watching, the UFC people were the ones who kind of like motivated me. And I recently met with Ken Shamrock, who's a former WWE wrestler and what I believe is a Hall of Famer for the UFC. And when I met with Shamrock, we spoke for like about a few minutes, but Shamrock educated me so much in the whole kickboxing thing that it made me say to myself, you know what, I'm going to look into this. I'm going to start looking into it a little more. McGregor, the guy that he is now. And eventually, when I found out who he was, I said, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is big. And, the UFC, I'm not going to get into that stuff. Like, I'm not going to, like, try to get into something where I'm going to get beat up and start bleeding. But
right.
The stuff that they do, the workouts that they do, it motivated me enough to say, I want to step up to the next challenge in my life. And the next challenge is to get fit and do all these high-intensity workouts and get this cardio kicking in so that I could get in the best shape that I've always wanted to be in. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's really where you're at right now. Everybody can probably listen to Rob and say, man, you know what? This guy's inspiring. This is what I really need to do. And, man, it's been fantastic, Rob. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you coming on.
Rudy?
Yeah. Are you there?
Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, are you there?
Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming on the show, man. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
Thanks, Rob. Take care, man. We'll talk soon. Well, we're going to do this again when I have my studio rolling.
No problem.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, filled with technical problems or not, Rob Aurelius is certainly inspiring to, everybody. And if you haven't really listened to Rob, you're really missing out there. I'll tell you that right now. Unfortunately, audio for me today is not my friend, and it's not working. So you only have me here on Facebook Live and not on this broadcast on WBLZsports.com. So, look, my hour is up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in any way that they can. I apologize for any of the hiccups that I've had. I'll certainly get the issue fixed, no doubt about it. But again, thanks again. I appreciate it. I appreciate the listenership as well. And go to TheRudeDogShow.com for hopefully this interview, and it will be posted in its entirety on TheRudeDogShow.com. And I just appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. This is Rudy Reyes on The Rude Dog Show at WBLZsports.com.